Welcome, adventurers of Middle-earth, to another enthralling video of Realms Revealed. As the echoes of the War of the Ring fade into whispers, one enigma lingers in the shadows: the transformation of Saruman the White into a figure of treachery and deceit. While the battles of good and evil dominate the tales, a question beckons from the depths of lore. When and why did Saruman succumb to darkness? In today's video, we plunge into the depths of Saruman's past, seeking to unravel the mysteries behind his fall from grace. But before we dive on this quest for truth, remember to subscribe and ring the bell for updates. Join us as we journey through the annals of Middle-earth, unlocking its deepest secrets together. Saruman's origins and early days in Middle-earth. Saruman's origins trace back to the early days of Ardor, where he belonged to the Aina, the first beings created by Eru Ilúvatar. As a Maia, Saruman served under Aulë, the Vala of craftsmanship and smithing. This affiliation likely brought him into contact with another Maia, Mairon, who would later become the Dark Lord Sauron. In these ancient times, Saruman and Mairon may have shared a close relationship, united by their intelligence, ambition, and a desire to bring order to the world. One of the earliest references to Saruman's character comes from the Unfinished Tales, where it is mentioned that he was chosen by Aulë to be one of the Istari, or wizards, sent to Middle-earth. This selection process underscores Saruman's qualities of might and wisdom, positioning him as a peer of Sauron himself. The text states, "Who would go, for they must be mighty, peers of Sauron, but must forego might, and clothe themselves in flesh so as to treat on equality and win the trust of elves and men. But this would imperil them, dimming their wisdom and knowledge, and confusing them with fears, cares, and weariness coming from the flesh." But two only came forward: Curamo, who was chosen by Aulë, and Lotr, who was sent by Rome. Saruman's selection as one of the Istari highlights his esteemed position among the Aina, and suggests that he was viewed as a figure of great potential and capability. This early recognition of his abilities may have contributed to Saruman's sense of superiority and ambition, laying the groundwork for his eventual fall from grace. The arrival of the Istari and Saruman's envy. The arrival of the Istari in Middle-earth marked a significant turning point in Saruman's journey. As one of the 5 wizards tasked with aiding the free peoples against the forces of darkness, Saruman was granted a new identity and purpose. However, this transition was not without its challenges, particularly as Saruman grappled with feelings of envy and resentment towards his fellow wizard, Gandalf. Upon their arrival at the Grey Havens, Círdan the Shipwright bestowed Narya, one of the 3 elven rings of power, upon Gandalf rather than Saruman. This decision, as recounted in the Fellowship of the Ring, is described thus: "The first to come was one of noble mien and bearing, with raven hair and a fair voice, and he was clad in white. Great skill he had in works of hand, and he was regarded by well-nigh all, even by the elder, as the head of the order. Others there were also, 2 clad in sea blue, and 1 in earthen brown. And the last came one who seemed the least, less tall than the others, and in looks more aged, grey-haired and grey-clad, and leaning on a staff. But Círdan from their first meeting at the Grey Havens divined in him reverence, and he gave to his keeping the 3rd ring, Narya the Red." The decision to entrust Narya to Gandalf rather than Saruman likely fueled the latter's growing envy and resentment towards his fellow wizard. Despite being regarded as the head of the Order of the Istari, Saruman found himself overshadowed by Gandalf, whose humility and wisdom earned him the favor of Círdan and the elves. This early slight may have planted the seeds of discord within Saruman's heart, setting him on a path towards darkness. Seeds of envy and ambition. Saruman's journey towards darkness was further influenced by his insatiable ambition and desire for power. As he studied the ways of Sauron in the distant east, Saruman's admiration for the Dark Lord grew, and he began to covet Sauron's dominion over Middle-earth. This gradual shift in Saruman's mindset is illustrated in The Two Towers, where it is stated, "Too long he had studied the ways of Sauron in hope to defeat him, and now he envied him as a rival rather than hated his works." This passage highlights Saruman's transformation from a potential adversary of Sauron to a would-be imitator. Driven by a desire to emulate Sauron's power and influence, Saruman's envy of Sauron's mastery over the forces of darkness reflects his growing disillusionment with his own role as a guardian of Middle-earth, paving the way for his eventual descent into treachery. As Saruman returned from the east to join the White Council in their efforts to combat the growing threat of Sauron, his envy and ambition continued to fester beneath the surface. Despite being chosen as the leader of the council, Saruman's resentment towards Gandalf, who was favored by Galadriel, only intensified. This dynamic is explored in The Lord of the Rings, where it is revealed Galadriel indeed had wished that Mithrandir should be the head of the council, and Saruman begrudged them that, for his pride and desire of mastery was grown great, but Mithrandir refused the office, since he would have no ties and no allegiance, save to those who sent him. Saruman's refusal to accept Gandalf's leadership role further underscores his pride and ambition, as well as his growing sense of superiority over his fellow wizard. Despite his outward facade of wisdom and authority, Saruman's heart was consumed by envy and resentment, driving him ever closer to the darkness he once sought to oppose. The acquisition of Isengard and Saruman's transformation. In the year 2759 of the Third Age, Saruman embarked on a new chapter in his journey towards darkness by venturing to Rohan in search of the keys to the ancient fortress of Isengard. With the approval of the Steward of Gondor and the King of Rohan, Saruman claimed Isengard as his new home, marking a significant shift in his allegiance and ambitions. Initially, Saruman presented himself as a friend and ally to the people of Rohan, offering to safeguard Isengard as a lieutenant of the Steward and Warden of the Tower. However, beneath this facade of friendship lay Saruman's true intentions to use Isengard as a base of operations for his own purposes, independent of the White Council. This duplicity is hinted at in The Two Towers, where it is suggested, but Saruman had slowly shaped it to his shifting purposes, and made it better, as he thought, being deceived. Saruman's acquisition of Isengard represented a pivotal moment in his transformation from a servant of the free peoples to a would-be conqueror. With the fortress under his control, Saruman began to consolidate his power, drawing upon its resources and secrets to further his own ambitions. This gradual shift towards tyranny and oppression laid the groundwork for Saruman's eventual betrayal of his former allies and descent into darkness. The temptation of the Palantir. One of the defining moments in Saruman's journey towards evil occurred when he dared to gaze into the Palantir of Orthanc, a decision that would have far-reaching consequences for Middle-earth. In the year 3000 of the Third Age, Saruman succumbed to the lure of the Palantir, seeking knowledge and power beyond his grasp. This fateful decision marked a turning point in Saruman's story, as he became ensnared in the web of Sauron's influence. The Palantir served as a conduit through which Sauron exerted his will, corrupting the minds of those who dared to peer into its depths. Saruman's prolonged exposure to the Palantir amplified his desires and fears, feeding his ambition and paranoia. As Gandalf later recounted in The Fellowship of the Ring, "I came at long last to the dwelling of Saruman. I am Saruman the Wise, Saruman Ringmaker, Saruman of many colors. A new power is rising. Against it, the old allies and policies will not avail us at all. There is no hope left in elves or dying Numenor. This then is one choice before you, before us. We may join with that power. It would be wise, Gandalf." Saruman's declaration of allegiance to Sauron reflects the extent of his corruption and descent into darkness. The Palantir served as a catalyst for Saruman's transformation, amplifying his desires and leading him to abandon his former allies in favor of the Dark Lord. The consequences of betrayal. Saruman's betrayal had far-reaching consequences for Middle-earth, as he unleashed his forces upon the land of Rohan in a bid for dominance. Through his manipulation of Isengard's resources and alliances with dark forces, Saruman waged war upon the Rohirrim, bringing devastation and despair to the once peaceful realm. The consequences of Saruman's betrayal are vividly depicted in The Two Towers, where the people of Rohan suffer at the hands of his Uruk-hai and other minions. This passage captures the horrors unleashed by Saruman's treachery. 15 of my men I lost, and 12 horses alas. For the orcs were greater in number than we counted on. Others joined them, coming out of the east across the great river. Their trail is plain to see a little north of this spot, and others, too, came out of the forest. Great orcs, who also bore the white hand of Isengard. That kind is stronger and more fell than all others. Saruman's actions serve as a stark reminder of the destructive power of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of evil. His betrayal of his allies and his descent into darkness stand as a cautionary tale for all who would seek power at any cost. The legacy of Saruman's betrayal. The legacy of Saruman's betrayal extends far beyond his own demise, casting a long shadow over the events of Middle-earth and shaping the course of history for generations to come. As his treachery unfolded, Saruman left a trail of destruction in his wake, sowing discord and despair among the free peoples of Middle-earth. One of the most significant consequences of Saruman's betrayal was the weakening of the forces opposed to Sauron. By turning against his allies and unleashing his forces upon Rohan, Saruman effectively divided the strength of the free peoples, making them more vulnerable to Sauron's advances. This division played directly into Sauron's hands, allowing him to exploit the rifts among his enemies and further his own agenda of conquest and domination. Furthermore, Saruman's actions had a profound impact on the land of Rohan itself. The once proud realm of the Rohirrim was plunged into chaos and turmoil as Saruman's forces ravaged the countryside and besieged its strongholds. The people of Rohan endured great hardship and suffering as they struggled to defend their homeland against the onslaught of Saruman's minions. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Saruman's betrayal lies in the lessons it offers to future generations. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power. It reminds us that even those who begin with the noblest of intentions can be led astray by their desires, ultimately causing great harm to themselves and others. Saruman's legacy is one of tragedy and folly. His descent into darkness serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of virtue and the ever-present temptation of evil. Yet, even in the darkest of times, there remains hope for redemption and renewal. As the people of Middle-earth strive to rebuild and recover from the devastation wrought by Saruman's betrayal, they are reminded of the enduring power of courage, resilience, and the bonds of fellowship. But our exploration does not end here. Join us on future expeditions as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Tolkien's rich tapestry, shedding light on the forgotten corners and hidden depths of Middle-earth. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated on our latest adventures. And to all our fellow travelers who have shared in this odyssey of discovery, we extend our deepest gratitude. Together, let us keep the flame of curiosity burning bright as we journey onward to unlock the secrets of Middle-earth. Farewell, until we meet again on the next video of Realms Revealed.